Listen, they don't care about you, console gamer. I've been telling you, Microsoft has disrespected the console gamer so much this generation, and y'all just took it. We just took it. I'll put myself in your shoe until I finally said no more. I said no mas, no mas. And now they're showing you, you are not worth them making a dedicated handheld just for you. How else you want to read this? I'll say it slowly again. Microsoft is saying you are not worth them making a dedicated handheld just for you. No. You see, this is what Microsoft wants. You're either going to be a console gamer that plays on PlayStation, or you're going to be whatever type of gamer Xbox wants you to be, which is going to be some type of PC hybrid. This video doesn't have to be that long because I ain't trying to create too much hate. But just know that this to me makes sense. Don't be surprised if there is no Xbox hardware next generation and they do the same thing that they're doing with this handheld. And it's just other people making hardware with Xbox branding on it.
Wait. What?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, today we got your next dose of the salty batch files, and just like our opener there, I do have to say, as if they knew the whole time. No, they're pretty new. Doc, all due respect, I like you buddy, but you didn't know the writing was on the wall until not too long ago, and then you jumped ship to PC, much like a lot of these Xbox fanboys. However, we got more examples and then some. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to the meat of the matter here, right to the salt, and much like my good brother Doc, let's see how everybody else has been handling this whole transition of Xbox being full-on third-party and how everybody feels essentially, right? Let's start with a gentleman called Yeaterson the Fourth, if you will. Sick. So we just got dog crap third-party hardware collabs that can't play 95% of my Xbox library. What a great strategy, Xbox. Surely this will end well for them. Now, what's this in regards to? This is in regards to the recently appointed news in regards to the Xbox handheld. There was supposed to be a dedicated handheld that was supposed to work with Windows and on and on and on, but what they wanted to do is kind of sideline that project, according to rumor, according to Jez Corden and many others, in regards to that. So they're going to be focusing on how to make that ecosystem, how to make Windows 11 run better, and et cetera, along with those partners like Asus and stuff like that, and Lenovo, I'm sure, and on and on, right? You got that Xbox sticker on that handheld, you got the Xbox buttons on there, so they're going to go with their hand there, and I got some more thoughts on that as we continue, of course, but let's feature right now JRock. We'll get right over to JRock. It's been a minute since we've come across him. Again, I don't look for these guys. If they happen to come my way or somebody sends me something, I can't ignore it. But again, here we have JRock, right? There goes Xbox once again with a new strategy and vision. I swear the leadership there has ADHD, as they can never focus on anything for very long or see anything through. With the facepalm meme, gif, whatever here. The interesting part is, I mean, folks like JRock, I mean, they were hammering it home to everybody under the sun who was willing to listen, which was a lot of sheep, mind you, in regards to how Xbox is doing fine, they're doing this, they're doing that, just you wait, the whole mantra, right, just wait, that we poked fun at for years at this point in time, but yeah, they're just finally getting upset because when they're looking forward to something, a dedicated piece of hardware, again, for a dedicated handheld piece, whether it's a next-gen console or whatever, they're getting tired of being pulled along. And eventually, like we've talked about before, you're going to start to see the cracks from these talking heads and these shills and stuff, right? We're going to see that foundation start to crumble as time goes on. It's been weakening, it's been faltering, the faith isn't there anymore. But again, we the normal folks out there, those with any, sort of competency, skills within their brain, were able to determine the direction that Xbox has been heading towards for years. And again, I do admit multiple times that this is happening much quicker than I thought. I thought we still had a few years, but it was happening. But here, it seems like everything's sped up. Good old Satya said, you know what? Enough of this. We're a business. I'm here to make money, not lose money, and give handouts. So here we are. But you love to see it, even the foundations of those like JRock, the idiot there, right? But let's keep going here. Moving on, we have Muscled RMH. Talking about it even further, watch Sony release it earlier than Xbox, and Xbox eventually cancel it altogether because of their lack of proper market timing and release. Again, talking about the handheld and etc. These decisions will eventually kill Xbox hardware altogether. And at least some of these guys are putting it together, right? 2 + 2 = 4, 1 + 1 = 2, all the simple basic stuff they're starting to put together here. They're like, wait a minute. And then, of course, Colt Eastwood, at this point in time, mind you, at this point in time, I can see that. What? You can see what? You can see what? What was on the wall, the writing on the wall for the last 5 years? Exponentially sped up, but especially, I'll give you a little bit of a buffer, but the last 2 years especially should have been the writing on the wall for anybody as thick-headed as you even, Colt. What do you mean you can see that? It's what's happening. It's what's happening. And your followers are at least starting to crumble and be like, you know what? And then you can't argue it. What are you going to argue with your followers and piss them off even more? Even they see through the bull crap. I know you see through the bull crap. Don't give me this shill grifting BS, dude. You see through it all. You know this is what's happening. And again, just a side note here, folks. I've never wanted or ever wanted Xbox as a hardware brand, especially dedicated console or having exclusives and everything, to go away because competition breeds excellence and quality and etc., right? It's needed. We were just trying to tell you, guys, buy this, buy that. There's always going to be a poking of this and that. But the talking heads and shills took it too far, weren't being honest, and in conjunction with Game Pass and all the other variables in that circle, this is the recipe you end up with in the end. All right? Simple. It's simple. Let's move on to Andre. So you wanted them to release a handheld that can't perform on par or outperform the SteamOS, right? Y'all would be the first ones to crucify them for it once the handheld keeps losing to SteamOS and the Sony handheld. They need to release that collab handheld and tweak it on the fly. And again, we're talking about the handheld piece that was supposed to be a dedicated hardware piece for Xbox. And now again, just to reiterate, they supposedly did sideline that. So this gentleman here is basically stating it needs to come out ASAP, right? And I agree, Andre, this does need to come out ASAP. So he's very upset, not handling it well, but I get it. I get the frustration. But again, it does need to come out, right? If it doesn't, and you do have to tweak it on the fly. I responded to Paris just the other day in just a post. There's nothing directly to him, but just in a post, and I stated, and this is simple, maybe it's kind of trollish or whatever, but I stated, the thing with Xbox right now in their future and everything they're doing, it's mistake after mistake. They step on rake after rake. They are constantly making poor decision after poor decision, and they're playing, and what I said in the beginning of that is they're already playing catch up to catch up. Does that make sense? They're so far behind, they're trying to play catch up to at least be sustainable, to at least be, comparable to the current market, right? They're trying to catch up from that. But now, with this situation going on and this dedicated handheld piece, and we don't know what's going on with the dedicated hardware console piece yet, right? If it even happens, they're playing catch up almost ×2 is essentially what I'm trying to get at here, right? It's just an uphill battle. To say it in the slightest of terms, or to say it with the most ease of terms, I would say, it's I don't know what else to kind of compare it to at this point in time, right? It's just, it's not even a dangle of a carrot. It's not the tortoise and the hare. It's nothing like that. They're so far behind, and the timing in conjunction with everything is so off that they do have to release something right now. If they want to stay in this race, if their plan is behind the scenes, or they just haven't outright stated it, even though they essentially did, Xbox is everywhere and all these telltale signs and no red lines and all that stuff, right? They basically said it, but yeah, this is sealing the deal. There's the stamp of approval. Here's sealing the deal, right? That we, Xbox, as a brand, is full-on third-party. Full-on third-party, first-party games on every platform. It's done. They don't 180 this. I don't see them 180, using a 180 for this to recircle back around, guys. It's just not going to happen. I highly doubt it. It's at this point, when I say I highly doubt it, I'm not saying 100%, is because part of me hopes that they can turn something around real quick. I do. But it's just not likely. And I'm on the part of hope and faith as well that they can do something, that they can't be this, so unaware, or the self-awareness is that lackadaisical, right? It's just weird. But anyways, let's keep going. I can go on that soapbox here as we continue, but Crazy Kazzy, Microsoft doesn't have any idea what they're doing. It's comical at this point. It just seems like scrambling at the moment, right? Ventilator continues. The problem is that if everyone swaps to SteamOS, they can't use Game Pass as it isn't SteamOS compatible, right? Do we understand how that works? Because it isn't compatible. Just basically what he said. I don't think I need to break that down any further. They want people to use Windows on handheld so they can sell more subs. Correct. The more stuff that works through Windows 11, the more they have the OS and the interface, and everything works great that way. It's such an uphill battle, again, to even go against. And I've stated this in past videos, and other people obviously have stated it. I'm not some messiah here. But in case you did miss it, it's an uphill battle trying to compete with anything Steam, especially with the SteamOS or Steam anything. I mean, they have such a large foothold. They have a great refund policy. They have a great store. They have great sales. They have all this stuff that's already there. So when you're trying to venture into that market, you're going against the juggernaut that is the Nintendo Switch and now Switch 2, but then you're also going up against Steam in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't see, and this is what I stated from the beginning too, when they started venturing in the handheld market. Who thought this was a good idea to just dive in there? I don't know. And there are rumors that PlayStation will again, of course, dive into the handheld market with a dedicated handheld aside from the PlayStation Portal, right? I think PlayStation Portal is a safe bet. It's low risk, high reward, right? It's an LED screen. It's basically a remote play device. And now if you have the premium subscription, you can stream via the cloud. But it's not a dedicated handheld that has to run this and that, and you need proprietary memory or anything like that, right? I think, again, it's a low risk, high reward. If it ended up failing like so many people thought it would and wanted it to, then, they're out some money, right? But it's not the biggest disaster out there. It's not like they came out with like a Vita 2 or PS Portal 2 or whatever the case is, or PSP, PlayStation Portable 2 or something, right? And it just crashed and burned, and they put all these resources in the hardware and banking and all the software, and it didn't work out. That's where you have the high risk, low reward, right? That's the difference between that there. But yeah, it's quite the uphill battle, guys, when we're talking about SteamOS and going against Steam, period, in that market, period. They already have now a foothold because they beat Microsoft to the punch. Microsoft had this rumored having a handheld in the works for quite some time. And guess what? Steam with Steam Deck and such jumped in there. Shortly after, Asus and Lenovo and ROG Ally and blah, blah, blah. They're going to be really late to the game, whether it's dedicated or not, man. I mean, whether it's just so many variables against them. It's absolutely insane. And again, the foundation's starting to crack, right? Let's continue over here. Now, this is something I just want to reiterate. I think these are wise words and just truthful at the matter from Mike Kubara, right? If you don't know who he is, look him up. I'm not going to reintroduce who he is, but he's notable in the game industry, right? So he states, if true, when he's talking about Xbox achievements, stating Microsoft has temporarily sidelined its handheld report, Xbox, yada, yada, yada. As he continues, right? So many devices out there, and with SteamOS on third-party devices now, none of this made any sense to me other than a reaction to fill some void in a hardware strategy, aka PR play. I mean, exactly. I'm going to sit here for a second. Let's let that sink in for a second before we get to the rest of this even. Exactly. So, as he continues, given the new Xbox focus, leaving this debate outside of this particular thread, right? Because he's not trying to make it a hardware console war type of deal. Hardware makes no sense. Focus on great games and building communities within them, hashtag Xbox. Exactly. And I think that's what's going on. I mean, we're pulling the Band-Aid off, guys. We're pulling the Band-Aid off very slowly, a little faster than super slow, right? But not like a rip. It's a moderate pull of the Band-Aid. The 4 games, the no red lines, everything's an Xbox, having collaboration with advertisement with PlayStation, with Forza. I mean, what are we doing? Other than delaying the inevitable, right? The fanboys and stuff don't understand the reality of the situation. Mike Kubara has no hat in the race, has no car in the race, whatever variable, whatever synonym you want to utilize here. He's just stating the facts right here as well. And again, just because I prefer PlayStation, I enjoy playing there and on, doesn't mean I don't have my head on my shoulders, guys. People are upset because I state the truth, because I'm not super pro Xbox, because I'm not poking at all the PlayStation fanboys. And we understand why this is more heavily geared towards Xbox shills, grifters, fanboys, and all that, because there's more of them, A, and B, like I stated, not a lot of people are doing it. Right? Talking about mining these salt farms, mining the delusion of the Xbox side of things. That's why I have nothing against Xbox as a brand other than them making poor decisions. And I am upset that they are more than likely bowing out. And like Mike is stating here, it makes sense just to go full third party, right? Like they have been doing, continue to do it. At this point, just do day and date with your games, which I foresee happening as well. Simple as that. Just trying to spread awareness here and stop listening to the grifters and shills out there, because that's all they're doing. And they don't like it when I use that word. They don't think they are, but they are. The Gaz, the Alex, the everybody, that's what they are. Simple. Let's continue on. Our last example here before we wrap up the video here. Again, speaking of grifters, speaking of shills, speaking of me all the time telling you, look, be careful who you listen to, right? Example. Another of many examples from Colt Eastwood here. I would wait until, in a previous video of his, I would wait until Xbox reveals their actual native Xbox handheld. When he's talking about don't make any rash decisions, this, that, and the other, right? And then shortly after, a couple videos later, is all exclusive Xbox handheld has been sidelined. And then, of course, the parentheses for now. Man, let's just be honest. He's not going to be honest. Stop putting in the for now. What do you mean for now? We don't know. It's looking like it's indefinitely going to be sidelined because them trying to jump in. Why not, as a business, make the money and partner with this stuff? Yes, increase and make the OS for Windows and all that much better, make it compatible, make sure the cloud streaming's better and the latency is non-existent almost, or whatever the case is. That's making business sense at this point in time. It is such an uphill battle, but again, he has to type in, he's got to talk anyways. For now. No, let's be honest. So, if Colt was being honest, pretend I'm Colt here for a second, exclusive Xbox handheld has been sidelined. We don't know what will be happening in the near future, far future at this point in time. Stay tuned, whatever the case is. Don't say for now, and I know that's what's coming from Windows Central or Jazz Corden or whatever, but again, we're talking about a little bit of PR. There's PR everywhere that we're looking at in regards to biasness and all that for most of these talking heads, right? And that's just for now. Don't worry, guys. Hang in there. Just wait. Dude, just pull the Band-Aid off. Let's be honest. And what I want to finish up saying in this example is not only do I'm not feeling comfortable or confident in regards to Xbox actually having a dedicated handheld piece. I don't know if that's happening, right? I don't know if that's happening. And in conjunction with that, if that's not happening, something that should be a little more simple, do you really think they're going to have a next-gen console for sure? They said one was coming. I have a lot of the fanboys coming after me all the time. It's coming. They said so. They said so. Phil Spencer, the used car salesman, said a lot of things. And look what happened. So if you truly believe a next-gen console is coming, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's all I'm saying. Give some pause and understand that that could easily change. Second, let me add this at the very end here. If indeed they have one more console generation, do you truly believe that they're going to go ahead and do another after that? So now you want to sit there and tell your fans and whatever, buy our console. For what? Why invest in an ecosystem that isn't going to be around? One more generation. We're here for one last ride, guys. We're here for John Cena's farewell tour. So ultimately, what are we looking at here? We are looking at the fact of why invest into that ecosystem, right? What are we doing? What are we doing? So you want to be smart about it. This comes down to blind loyalty, to corporate loyalty, corporate bootlicking at this point. And again, shoe other foot. PlayStation's doing everything that Xbox is doing. Why would I stay? I wouldn't, you know? It's just, why would you? I think it's asinine. I think it's brash, all that stuff in regards to why you would expect your consumer, your fan base to stick with your brand. I mean, it's been nothing, honestly, but a kick in the teeth to these folks, to these fans, in regards to stringing them along. You know, being the only 4 games, to doing this, to doing that, and they keep backtracking. Like I said, the used car salesman talk. They knew what was going on long before these talks. They tried to seep it in, right? They tried to seep it in, making that all happen. So it really is unfortunate. This is why I dislike the brand of Xbox in general. Not that I want them to go away. Not that I want them to cease to exist and not give competition. It's because of this, you know, and every corporation is privy to this to a point, right? Don't think they're your best friend. Doesn't matter if it's PlayStation, Nintendo, whoever, obviously. But it comes down to the fact that you have to see what's going on here. How do you not? Out of all the big 3 right now, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, they are the ones that give you the ick. They are the ones that are giving you trust issues. It's like an abusive relationship, unfortunately, right? It's so bad that I feel bad for the actual fans of Xbox because they deserve better. They aren't possibly following these talking heads. They are just maybe casually trying to, you know, invest in the ecosystem and hoping for the best, truthfully. And I wish nothing but the best for those fans, but the reality of the situation is much different. So, that being said, hopefully we can find some sort of resolution there. But what I do know is the salt is real. It's going to continue. The shifting and the grilling will continue. Grifting, not grilling, will continue as time goes on here because they got a buck to make and they need those super chats, folks. So they will be featured on this channel pretty often. So that being said, we'll wrap up the video here. Won't make it terribly too long. So thank you for following the entirety of the video if you did. If you haven't already, leave a like, comment down below. Both those things do help out the algorithm. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing to a small content creator like myself. We are looking to get to that 3,500 sub goal, and we are working our way there. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate you, everybody in the community, all that good stuff. You're here for the truth, and that speaks volumes. It really does. So that being said, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.